Between the rapid growth rate of Tesla's gigafactories, the power efficiency of their powertrains, and the energy density of their batteries, and the rate they're able to scale production, the vertical integration with autonomy and developing their own custom full self-driving chip, and the amount of data Tesla is able to collect off of their own cars feeding into their neural net, it's pretty easy to look at what Tesla is doing and come to the conclusion that they're unstoppable, right? What is Tesla's greatest threat? Is it going to be some company that outsources themselves to the top by piggybacking off of Tesla's success? Is it going to be a legacy automaker that finally learns some new tricks and learns how to apply the Tesla logic to their own company? Or is it going to be another revolutionary startup that's funded by a big tech giant? Honestly, I don't think any of those brands or any of those companies that I'm sure come to mind when I list them are a true threat to Tesla. The automotive space is very large and there's plenty of room for everybody. But in all honesty, in today's video, I wanted to dive into why I think Tesla's greatest threat is really just tradition. The biggest threat Tesla has to worry about is people not understanding how their products or services work. And the great news about having your biggest threat be tradition is that traditions change. And as technology and software improves and as word of mouth spreads, tradition is by no means an unbeatable threat. It's something that Tesla can only power through with time and mass market adoption, which we're already seeing not just in the United States, but around the globe. There's still a ton of people in today's world that are going to be extremely hesitant to ever buy a Tesla, or any electric car rather, because they simply do not want to reorganize their life. They don't want to change around their schedule or change the pattern and behavior that they're accustomed to. They drive their car around, or they pay their energy bill based on how much they use. When your car gets low on gas, you go to the gas station, you fill it up. We've been doing it for decades and decades, nearly a century now, and people are so comfortable with it, the idea of changing that pattern, changing that behavior is foreign to them. And while humans like change, at the same time they hate change. And the fact of the matter is, buying a Tesla requires relearning a lot of things. There's no ignition process, there's no little metal key anymore. Even the door handles are a little bit of a learning curve at first. And of course, having that central display control everything, not having the speedometer behind the steering wheel, all changes that people who buy the car and use it seem to be pretty happy with, and they don't mind adapting their typical work life or behavior when it comes to charging versus filling up their car. But to someone who's not interested in tech and not interested in Tesla from the beginning, it's very hard to persuade someone on. It's very hard to get them used to doing something else, like, oh hey, in this case you actually plug in the car when you get home and you don't have to wait until your tank is low on gas to go to the gas station, because you can just top off literally while you're asleep. Your car gets more energy while you do. Same with Tesla's thriving solar business. There's a lot of people out there that don't really have a good grasp on the amount of money it costs to put a literal money printer on your roof. There's still a predetermined notion for a lot of people that, well, solar is expensive, it's pricey, I don't want to deal with it, so I'm just going to keep paying my standard electric bill. And because Tesla doesn't really advertise that much, it's kind of hard for them to know that in places like California, you can literally subscribe to Tesla Solar for like $65 a month, and the small solar packages that you can buy outright start at $8,200, and over time I'm sure that is probably going to get even cheaper. I've even run into a lot of people in my personal life that think electric cars aren't worth it because your energy bill is going to go up when you're charging from home, and that means that you're not really saving that much compared to gas. A lot of people that just don't really have a firm grasp on the economic benefits of an electric car or the cost-saving measures of an electric car, but thankfully a lot of people are aware, and that's why the adoption EVs are growing fast. And as Tesla is able to scale production and lower prices and get better energy density, I think it's going to be a very interesting decade ahead of us, because we're going to start to see the point where it becomes more and more stupid to keep buying gas cars. As the price of electric cars fall, the range gets much better. We can already see how much growth has been made in the past decade. You know, the Model S is not even 10 years old, and there's been so much improvements just from that car's first introduction. You know, now you can spend like 45 grand on an electric car and go 300 miles, whereas back then it was more like a $70,000 to $80,000 purchase that almost got you to 300 miles. Knowing how much better things are going to be 10 years from now, it's going to start become obvious to people that, okay, now electric cars are going to be the same price as gas cars, or because there's a lot less moving parts, we could reach the point where electric cars are cheaper than gas, not just to maintain, but also to buy outright. And at that point, you're going to have the acceleration, you're going to have the lower cost of ownership, you're going to have the lower cost up front. Buying buying a gas car is just gonna feel silly because it'll start costing you more money upfront and more money to maintain. There's this whole ignition process when you get inside. There's more lag when it comes to acceleration. That time between experiencing torque and pressing the gas pedal is going to feel so dated. And while Tesla cannot revolutionize the entire auto market overnight, it does eventually happen. People are catching on to this trend of electric cars and what they're capable of, and Tesla's grandmaster plan of making them cool and smart and sexy really is paying off. That's why I think you're seeing their stock do so well, and you're seeing so many factories go up, and you're seeing no demand problems with Teslas because they were right from the beginning. They knew exactly how to handle this market. They knew exactly how to scale it, and doing everything vertically integrated while it cost a lot up front is proving to be a very long-term big payoff. With the rapid growth of Giga Shanghai, Giga Berlin going up super fast, and now Tesla even moving on Giga Texas, I can assure you this is not changing anytime soon. Their rapid growth and the rapid expansion is only going to increase exponentially over time, which means there's more vehicles on the road, there's more solar panels on houses, more revenue being generated, and of course the more people who are buying Teslas, they're going to convince their friends and their family to start buying Teslas. Once you start knowing someone with one, that appears to be the best way for Tesla to sell, is to just make a solid product, and then their customers basically are selling their product for them. So if there's a blanket statement you get from this video, it's that yes, at this point it does kind of feel like Tesla is unstoppable. That is, of course, unless they start making some really stupid decisions, but it doesn't seem like they are. And if they keep the course and keep expanding and keep scaling production the way they are, you should absolutely expect them to retain their lead on competitors with autonomy, with energy density, and with Battery Investor Day coming up. Sounds like they're going to be continuing in the lead with having the best batteries for the buck you can get, also having the most power efficient powertrains in the market, which means their cars cost less to drive. And there may be a few other auto companies making EVs that are just now catching up with the range of Teslas, but they typically require larger battery packs, which means the profit margins on those vehicles are not as healthy, they're not as good as Teslas, and I don't expect this lead to change anytime soon, which means that their biggest threat, the biggest thing Tesla has to worry about, is simply people just not being aware of them. And honestly, that's going to become a shrinking problem as more and more people like you are watching videos like this, more and more people are buying Teslas and becoming aware of them and being like, hey, my friend picked one of those up and that seems pretty cool. I think I want one of those next. That's it. That's all Tesla has to worry about, which is simply a matter of time. I don't think Rivian is going to put Tesla out of business. I definitely don't think Nikola is. I don't think tech giants are going to be able to keep up with the energy density, the efficiency of the powertrains, not to mention the rapid expansion of Tesla's gigafactories, which vertical integration is always long-term going to end up being better for your profit margins than outsourcing all of your manufacturing. And with the amount of road data Tesla is collecting with autopilot, I think they're also going to have a dominant lead on autonomy, and other companies are going to really have a hard time catching up. In fact, Tesla is even open to producing powertrains and batteries for other companies and licensing out their software even. So once competitors start doing that, Tesla is the one collecting the revenues off of it. So that's why their stock is unstoppable. That's why there's so many fanboys out there, is because if you just look at the facts and you look at how Tesla handled the previous 10 years and you start thinking about what they're going to do over the next 10 years, there doesn't seem to be any way someone can keep up with them. There's no other company that's going to be able to catch up with production and sales of electric vehicles, and we know that electric vehicles are going to become the future as more and more countries are mandating that gas cars be banned by a certain year. We have a finite amount of fossil fuels in the first place, so it just makes a logical amount of sense that we're going to be seeing a lot more electric cars in the future, and Tesla is the best at making them now, and they're probably going to be the best at making them 10 years from now. If there's anything you think I'm getting openly wrong about the subject, feel free to hit me up over on Twitter, join my Discord. Let's chat more about it there. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.